What's crappin'? Welcome to Under the Foreskin, a show dedicated to the happenings of the SJU and Misfits Fantasy Football League. My name is Kyle. I'm the head of football operations for the Potomac Pretenders, the second place Potomac Pretenders, 6-1-1. Another huge win this week against just a opponent who really put up his best stuff against me. We'll get into more of that later. I'm joined by four special guests. Zach Bassett, president and CEO of the Nabo and Butte Pirates, first place Nabo and Butte Pirates at 7-1. 7-1. Mike Vanis is also in the house today. He is the VP of player operations for the Chernobyl TinWiskers, the once disaster and now second highest scoring team in the league, Chernobyl TinWiskers. Also joining Roger Schlachter, head coach of the Sioux City Smugglers. We're not sure he really makes any decisions there. He just shows up. And, of course, Tyler Olson, down by the stink hole, the Poughkeepsie Pandas. He's the, he had a scary-looking team at the beginning, but it's all fallen apart. And I'm not sure what his title is now and what it will be at the end of the season, but there will probably be a demotion in place. So we will talk about Week 8 games. We will do Waiver Wire Wednesdays and trades, and then, of course, Week 9 Pick'em with the entire crew. That'll be interesting. So let's get into it. Week 8, here we go. First off, my Potomac Pretenders took on the Duluth Draft Dodgers. I didn't do headlines this week, I just realized. That's okay. For my Pretenders, I started off, I led with this game because it was clearly the best game with the best players of the week. 62-48, I get the win. Two players in double digits for my Pretenders. One of them was Larry Fitzgerald, who caught a touchdown. The other, Jamal Charles, my regular double-digit player. Other than that, it was pretty hideous. Eli Manning, 9 points. Cecil Short, 7. Lots of 5s. 1-1 on there for Heath Miller. Pretty ugly pretty ugly overall. Fortunately, it was uglier for the Duluth Draft Dodgers. They had two players in double digits, Roethlisberger and New Orleans Saints defense. Other than that, listen to these barn-burning numbers. 4, 4, 3, 0, 8, 0, 4. That ain't going to get it done on a week-to-week basis. Granted, he had some bye-week blues, but that's no excuse for putting up 48 points. I'll take the win, 62 points. Next up, Buffalo Armadillos. They traveled to Flint, Michigan, as they always do. This was the Battle of Buffalo here today, as both Neil and John / Jack / Armadillo are both from Buffalo, Minnesota, in case you were wondering. The Tropics get the win, 126-96. Colin Kaepernick, freshly acquired from Potomac Pretenders, in his first start for the Buffalo Armadillos, 27 points. Guess how many yards he threw for passing? 164. Yeah, they let the Gazelle loose. Let's just say the Pretenders are not happy about this. Josh Gordon continues to be a stud, 132 yards and a touch for 20 points. Clap, clap. Negatives, though, for the Dillos that held them back this week. Darren Sproles, big old donut. Not sure how that happened. Julius Thomas, the constant touchdown machine, 2 points. And Danny Amendola, why is he even in your roster? He had 1 point. For the Tropics, Matthew Stafford, huge game, 27 points. I'd say about 25 of those went to Calvin Johnson, but that's fine. Des Bryant, 19 points, and Terrence Williams. Dinger has the Cowboys receiving core cornered, as this is like the third week in a row they put up 30-plus points between the two of them. Well done, Neil. McFadden with 19, back from injury. Like to see that for him. And the Denver defense, that late pick 6, vaulted them to a 23 points. Not a lot of negatives. The law firm, I guess, 3 points this week. But no one really did anything in that game on a running perspective. So, Flint Tropics, 5-2-1. I believe that puts them in 4th place. Buffalo Armadillos, 2-6, but in the playoffs because of points scored. Crapstone Prairie Dogs, 127. Hollywood Hotties, 84. Crapstone had a monster week with Calvin on the starting lineup. 38 points. That's a big game. Aaron Rodgers, 22 points. Also nice. Noshan Moreno, possibly the steal of the draft. 18 points. So a lot of positives there. I said he'd get 170 this week. That did not happen because Marshawn Lynch put up 2. AP only put up 14. And -2 Pettigrew, well, he put up 3 this week. That's not enough to get you to 170. Hollywood Hotties, Eddie Lacy, Zach Stacy, Russell Wilson, all with decent games. Again, I've said that, 3 or 4 weeks in a row now. Unfortunately, Colston and Jason Witten, both put up 1 point apiece. So that's it for my matchups for Week 8. I'm going to pass the mic to Zach here, and he will run through his game. Here we go.
Thank you, Kyle. I'm going to talk about my game against the Polish Sausage Wallets. I pulled out the victory 112-65. Wallets never really had a chance. Robert Griffin III, 3 points with a scary knee injury moment. Looks like he'll be fine, though. His defensive kicker with the high 2 scores on his team that week. Never good things come out of that. Cam Newton finally using his legs, 27 fantasy points. And again, thank you, Dave Treadle, for the trade of Gordon Davis. Put up a combined 28 points. Next, I'm going to pass it to Mike, talk about his week.
This week, the Chernobyl TinWiskers traveled to Baton Rouge, took on Jason and the Border Collies. Came away with a victory, 125-95. Both teams put up respectable scores, both outrunning their projected totals for the week. On the TinWiskers, the big point totals this week, 22 out of Manning, 25 out of Jordy Nelson, 27 out of the Cincinnati defense, and Golden Tate. Couple touchdowns, 93 receiving yards for a total of 21. Couple other guys in there. Le'Veon Bell put up 10, and Daniel Thomas put up 10 as well, contributing to the 125-point total. A little bit of bye week blues for the Baton Rouge Border Collies. They were still able to put up a respectable 95, helped with 37 from Marvin Jones. Kind of came out of nowhere on that one. Other big tallies on their end, 14 for the Seattle defense. Stevie Johnson put up 13 as well, wide receiver for Buffalo. On the bench this week, all of the players on the Border Collies bench this week were on bye week, besides Roddy White, who was also injured. So with that, we can move on to Roger and talk about his game this week.
My Sioux City Smugglers took on the Tallahassee Trouser Snakes in what turned out to be a blowout. There's really no better way to put it. You can't soften the blow here. Michael Vick coming in with -1 points, leaving the game. That's a big ouch. Not to mention LaShawn McCoy with only 5 points. On the positive side, the high-scoring kicker for the Trouser Snakes was their kicker, Ryan Sukop, with 13 points, and Maurice Jones-Drew showing a little life, 11 points. My Sioux City Smugglers had a nice all-around team effort. Everybody just put up a real solid game. Andre Ellington kind of came out of nowhere with 22 points. Showed he's got something going on there. And Mason Crosby, not to be outdone by Dave's Ryan Sukop, scored 15 points. Low end, Giovanni Bernard only had 1 point in the 49-9 blowout over the New York Jets. I don't know what was up with that, but and Rob Gronkowski with only 2. So, things are looking up in Sioux City. Here's Tyler.
All right, we're gonna do a glorious recap of the first win of the season for senior Joel Stackley. He gets off the schneid with a 34-point pounding of the Pandas. Needless to say, Drew Brees and Emmanuel Sanders accounted for 49 points, which single-handedly almost whooped my ass. Besides that, his team just kind of ho-hummed. Lots of 5s, 6, 7s. Not a overwhelming performance, but against my squad, that's more than enough. I thought I had a chance with Pryor going for a 93-yard touchdown first play of the game. I'm thinking, okay, let's do this. Needs to say, rest of the day, he puts up additional -1 point, so that's that. Additional 0 points out of Ruben Randall, and making the asinine choice of putting in Ben Watson over Jimmy Graham cost me another 11. Needs to say, I'm down as well.
So that is Week 8 in a nutshell. I realized I did not go through standings before we did Week 8, which is fine, because I'll go through them now. Leading the way, as I stated before, Nabo and Butte Pirates 7-1. Dirt off his shoulders, 790 points for my Potomac Pretenders in sole second place, 6-1-1. Feels pretty warm and cozy, 708 scored. Not the number we're looking for, but I stick it on 2 bad weeks. And I still only have 1 loss. That's what's important. Crapstone Prairie Dogs, 6-2. 896 points scored. Whoa. It's almost 200 points higher than me. Way to go, Alex. Your record's worse. Flint Tropics in 4th place, 5-2-1, 747 scored. Baton Rouge Border Collies, Sioux City Smugglers, both at 5-3. And there's a 10-point gap in between these two, with the Border Collies on top at 7-6-3. Chernobyl TinWiskers Polish Sausage Wallets 7-8. TinWiskers with 808 points, and the Sausage Wallets with 702. Pretty noticeable gap there. Trouser Snakes 3-5. Hotties 3-5. Not going to even talk about points scored with those two. Buffalo Armadillos 2-6 with 736 points scored. And Duluth Draft Dodgers also at 2-6, 702, as well as the Pandas at 660. Waco Wrinklebeasts, as Tyler just stated, finally get their first win of the season. Now 1-7, 579 points scored. So top 6 in because of record at the moment. Butte Pirates, Pretenders, Prairie Dogs, Tropics, Border Collies, Smugglers. Playoffs would read Chernobyl TinWiskers in the number 1 wild card spot, and the Buffalo Armadillos in the 2nd wild card spot. Obviously, still a lot of weeks to play, but it's fun to go through that anyways. Trades this week. We had a couple. One of them actually happened today, but there are so many fucking waiver wire ads every fucking day that it takes forever to get down to it. Dave, where are we here? Chris Johnson was dealt from the Poughkeepsie Pandas to my Potomac Pretenders for keeper value next year, and Doug Martin and Mike James, who you may or may not have heard of. Also on the trading block this week, Tom Brady was sent to my Pretenders. Pretenders getting busy trying to salvage their season as they have managed to light their team on fire. Tom Brady is dealt to the Pretenders for Cecil Shorts III, Jacksonville wide receiver. Roger stated in the public press release this week, that the fans in Sioux City are up in arms with Cecil on the team, as he is the player who has single-handedly knocked them out of the playoffs this year, or last year, 3, 2, 1. Single-handedly knocked them out of the playoffs the last 2 years. That was it for trades this week. Just my Pretenders getting busy trying to salvage the season. As far as waiver wire additions, we have any big spends this week, boys? Dexter McCluster for 6 points this week. I don't know. Nothing really worth mentioning, to be honest. Ted Ginn Jr. went for over $6. Kenny Stills went for $12 for the Crapstone Prairie Dogs. He got rid of -2 Pettigrew. $14 James Starks to the Smugglers. Packer fan, being a Packer fan. All right. Need some. That guy's in your starting lineup? I haven't even looked through that yet. Anyways. All right, week 9. Here we go. First off, Duluth Draft Dodgers take on the Hollywood Hotties in one of the few matchups that isn't severely crippled by bye weeks. Dodgers, Phillip Rivers, top 5 quarterback, ? Against Washington. Garcon, will he be on the other end of that game getting big points? Foster, does he play? Hammy's bad, not sure. DeMarco Murray against the Vikes. Could be a big game for DeMarco if he plays. So a couple question marks there. I'm saying if Foster and Murray play, I like the Dodgers. Zach, who do you like? Dodgers.
Fuck that shit.
I wanted to say sweep it. We got 1 Hottie and 4 Dodgers this week. Next up, Buffalo Armadillos take on the Waco Wrinklebeast. Ryan Tannehill at the helm for the Dillos this week. Josh Gordon, always in the starting lineup. He plays Baltimore, though, who's been pretty shut down on defense. Keenan Allen might be the sneaky play here. He plays Washington. Could be a huge week for Mr. Allen. The Wrinklebeast, though, they're on a winning streak. Drew Brees, he takes on the Jets. Carson Palmer. Now, Andy Dalton just lit up the Jets for 5 touchdowns, I believe. So I like Drew Brees this week. Pretty easy to like him. Kendall Wright, sneaky play against St. Louis. They suck. Ryan Matthews plays Washington. They also suck. I think the streak continues. I've picked the Dillos every week. They're 2-6. They should be 8-0 according to my picks. I'm going against the Dillos this week. Waco Wrinklebeast all the way. Zach. Beast. Wrinklebeast for Vanis. Beast. No, he cancels the sweep again. I don't get to say it. They're both bad teams, whatever. Sioux City Smugglers take on the Gnawbone Butte Pirates. I'm going to talk about this game because these two would just fight over the mic. Boy, there's a lot of bye weeks this week, though. This is not the normal team for either of these teams. Tony Romo and Cam Newton, juicy matchups. Cam at Atlanta, home versus Atlanta, and Tony Romo home versus the Minnesota Vikings. Gotta like both those. It could be a 30 burger to a 29 burger. We'll see. AJ Green, not Julio Jones. That's James Jones. Is he gonna play? We'll see. Gio Starks. Boy, I think I like for the Butte Pirates. I like Morris and Fred Jackson in there better, and I like Washington better than Cotchery. I like Gronk better than Graham, though. Ooh, it's so tough because the Butte Pirates got some crusty receivers. I circle Butte Pirates, but I'm going Smugglers because I want the Pretenders to be number one. I'm going Smugglers. Zach. Pirates.
Got the Smugglers in this one.
Vanis. Smugglers. Close one. Smugglers. So we get 4 Smugglers there? Yeah, 4 Smugglers. Well, your number 1 wide receiver is Brandon LaFell. Your number 2 is Hayward Bay. And your number 3 is Nate Washington. Bye-week Blues, it happens. All right, Zach, on to his. He's talking about a game, not sure which one.
Thanks, Kyle. I'm going to talk about the pivotal game, playoff implication game between the Wallets and the Collies. The projected score is 89 to the Wallets, 84 to the Collies. With the asterisk, Roddy White not play for the Collies. He's projected at 0. We'll see how Brendan Marshall does for the Wallets. Last week, the Packers gave up only 1 catch for 9 yards to Jennings. We'll see if they can shut down Marshall. And other than that, it looks like a pretty solid projected number for the Wallets. I have them winning. Looks like Jason's going to hang his head on Seattle defense, projected at 14. He's got Forte and Richardson combined 24. We'll see. I think it's a tight one, but like I said, I have the Wallets. What do you guys have?
I have the Wallets as well.
Wallets.
Border Collies.
2 Border Collies at the end there. All right, here's Mike.
This week, my Chernobyl TinWiskers take on the Potomac Pretenders. The new look Potomac Pretenders, like we discussed earlier. Tom Brady at the helm. Chris Johnson, running back. So we will see how the new look Pretenders holds up. This week, bye week for Peyton Manning. So we have McCown, quarterback, Josh McCown, quarterback for the Chicago Bears in the starting lineup this week.
That was Cade. Cade McCown?
Josh McCown, quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Starting the lineup this week, playing the Packers. Alshon Jeffrey and Martellus Bennett, also Bears players. We'll see how it goes up in Green Bay, but feeling confident that the young quarterback can pick apart the Packers D. The other side, like I said, Tom Brady. See how he does against Pittsburgh. Of course, you always got Jamal Charles and new look Chris Johnson. See if he can put more than 3 points on the board this week. I think it'll be a close game, but I'm taking the TinWiskers in a close one. I think I got big games out of Jordy as well as Josh McCown. What do you think, Roger?
I like the Pretenders.
I think McCown just torpedoes your squad, and the Pretenders run away with this one. On the legs of Chris Johnson.
I'm picking the Pretenders, but rooting for the TinWiskers.
Pretenders in a landslide, baby.
All right, next up we got the Flint Tropics taking on the Tallahassee Trouser Snakes, and what looks like another bye week Blues matchup. Looks like for the Tropics they got Matthew Stafford and Denver's defense on bye, and they still haven't put in any subs, and there's no one on the roster to take those spots. So, if he doesn't get on it, it's gonna give the Trouser Snakes an easy win. But Des Bryant going up against Minnesota, that might single-handedly carry the Flint Tropics to victory. But and Darren McFadden against Philly, those both are pretty nice matchups. Harry Douglas has really come on as of late. But as far as the Trouser Snakes go, we've got Andy Dalton on Thursday Night Football. Nobody likes Thursday Night Football. Nobody scores. He's projected at 13. That's probably about right. But then LaShawn McCoy at Oakland for the Trouser Snakes. It's looking all right. But, I don't know. We got a couple of guys coming back off injury for the Trouser Snakes. Jonathan Stewart is in the starting lineup right now. Projected for 3 points. We'll see how that goes. And Jacoby Jones is also in the starting lineup. So it's going to be a tight one here. Kind of a battle of the crust. I'm going to take the Trouser Snakes just because I don't think there's any quarterbacks left on the waiver wire. Tyler?
Tropics, baby.
Kyle?
Ugh, this one's ugly. I'm going Trouser Snakes.
Tallahassee, baby.
Trouser Snakes it is.
All right, there you have it.
Alright, I think this might be the last matchup we have for week number 9 here. Crapstone against the shaved and beaten Pandas. I used to say it's probably going to be rolling a landslide for Crapstone, even with Calvin Johnson out, Cobb injured. Who the hell else do we have that's gone? Other people. Spiller out for me, Graham hurt, Demarius on bye. I used to say it's Crust versus slightly better Crust. And there's nothing to say. Crapstone, I say takes this one.
Crapstone.
Crapstone and a landslide.
Crapstone.
Sweep it.
Sweep it!
Well, thank you to my four esteemed colleagues and competitors for joining under the foreskin today. As always, follow us on Twitter at SJU Misfits and on YouTube, youtube.com/SJU and Misfits. Until next week, good luck out there on the gridiron.